Welcome to Money, Manifestation, and Business, the podcast that shows you how to use your energy, intention, and consciousness to reprogram your money mindset, unleash a new level of possibility, and create a life and business that lights you up. I'm your host, Jamie Berman, and I invite you to join me each week for a dose of inspiration, coaching, and teachings to help you rewrite your money story, create abundance on your terms, and grow your business in a way that's fully aligned for you. This is going to be so much fun. Let's dive in. Today, I want to talk about turning envy into inspiration. Whether it's envy or jealousy, I really want to dive into how you can actually use that energy to get unblocked and grow. I learned something about jealousy and envy and inspiration that has really changed so much for me and allowed me to look at the things that I was feeling powerless around, not owning within myself, and really just shutting down, right? These parts of me that are within me, but I wasn't owning them. And we can actually use jealousy or envy to find out what those are, to shine a light on them and use this process to grow. Okay. So I used to be someone who felt very, very jealous of people who had money, like for a lot of my life. Because I was someone who, like, my parents never gave me money. If I wanted something, I had to work for it. I started working when I was 11 years old. I always had several jobs at a time, but was also always only making ends meet. So I'd be really jealous. I remember in college being jealous of people who, like, their parents gave them money or their parents gave them care packages. And meanwhile, I'm over here trying to get my degree, have all of these loans. I have, 2 part-time jobs on the side and I'm never sleeping, right? Trying to get my homework done in the middle of the night. Like, I was just working so hard just to make ends meet. And I never had access. I never had overflow. And that carried all through my 20s, right? I remember whenever I moved out to LA and I moved out with barely any money. I saved my money for an entire year working at Neiman Marcus to move out to LA. And I did it. It's amazing that I did it. But when I got out here, I was working retail and then I was trying to start my freelancing makeup career. And so I was doing a lot of work. I was going and I was working retail, working every single weekend, every single holiday. I was full-time there. And then I was trying to do test shoots, trying to connect with people. Most of the work that I was doing was free. I would drive out to Joshua Tree for several days for a free shoot just in exchange for test photos to put on my website. I mean, I was working my butt off. And I remember I would go to places like, I'd be like, let's go to do a beach day. Like if I did miraculously have a day off, I'd go over to Santa Monica or Venice Beach. And I would see these hip, young people around my age in their 20s who had like these cool apartments, who were just abundantly spending money like at bars or whatever, right? Or restaurants. And I'd be like, what the heck? I'd be so jealous of them. I'm like, how do they do it? It's not fair, right? And I always thought like, I'll never be someone like that. That's not fair, right? How do they get it with such ease? And I have to work my butt off nonstop. And I'm always just making ends meet. So I really felt like a victim to money. I felt I was really in a victim mindset of like, everyone else gets it easy, or a lot of other people get it easy. I wouldn't say I thought everyone else did, but I would see people who had it easy. And I would think like, that's just not me. And it's not fair because I don't come from those circumstances, right? And then in entrepreneurship, of course, it would come up there where I would see people who just started their business and it just took off like hotcakes. Meanwhile, I was like, wait, what? Like my program's better. I have more in there. I care about my clients more, or whatever. I was thinking I'm a more seasoned, coach than them. And look at what's happening with them. Why is it that they just take off? And here I am trying so hard and it's not working. So if you can relate to any of this, you're in an amazing place, because I am going to teach you this shift that has really changed everything and allowed me It's not like the energy of envy or jealousy doesn't come up, but I can now use it in a way that completely opens me up and gets me massively inspired. So here is what I learned and how that shift happened. So I learned that envy or jealousy, we'll just use them. I'm just going to call it envy, but if you resonate with the word jealousy more, like think of that. So envy and inspiration are actually almost the same thing. There's just one difference within ourselves and how we look at things that will either take us into envy or inspiration. And I'm going to tell you what that difference is. When we are feeling envious or jealous, it's because we are seeing someone who has something we want, right? Something that our spirit or our soul knows that we want to create. For example, those people, who had money and lived on the beach. And I wanted to be one of those people. But when it is jealousy or envy, the reason it feels so bad is because those people have qualities within them that they are living out that we want, but we are not owning those qualities within ourselves. So, for example, they were owning their ability to create money. They were owning their abundance. I, over here, was not. I was thinking, I'm not someone who can create money. Money is so hard to make. It's such a struggle. I have to work really, really hard to make money. I only deserve it if it's really, really, really hard, right? Like I had all of these money beliefs that kept me feeling really powerless within. So I felt jealous because that person was pointing out something that I wanted, but was not owning within myself versus inspiration. Why is it different when it's inspiration? Because when it's inspiration, we're seeing somebody who has qualities that we value or qualities that we also have and we acknowledge within ourselves, but we feel inspired because we actually own those things within ourselves. We don't tell ourselves, I can't have that. So, for example, one of my biggest inspirations is Oprah. I love me some Oprah. She's amazing. And the reason that I feel so inspired by her is because she has qualities like she's so compassionate. I love the way that she brings spirituality into her business. She runs this amazing, abundant business with so much intention, with so much integrity, right? Those are things that I all look up to. And the reason I don't feel jealous and the reason that I feel inspired is because I'm not telling myself I can't have that. I tell myself, like, oh, I could run my business with integrity. I can run my business with my connection to God and spirituality. I can be a compassionate person and bring that into my coaching. I can love people like she does. And I tell myself, like, oh, I'm inspired. Like, if she can have it, I can have it. That's kind of the mentality. Like, I look up to her because I'm like, oh, if she can do it, I can do it. And I believe that versus those, 20 somethings that had money. I was telling myself they can have it, but I can't. I wasn't owning the part of me that can have it too. So I was saying they can have it, but I can't. So I felt like a victim. I felt like a victim to my circumstances. I did not feel, even though I actually, on some level, was really inspired by them, right? And I really wanted what they have. I was telling myself I couldn't have it. So that's why that energy of jealousy or envy comes in. It just feels bad. It rubs us the wrong way. It rubs our feelings the wrong way, right? That's how I think about it. Like it just dims our light. It shuts us down. It keeps us in a victim state. So here's the good news. If you are someone who struggles with jealousy or envy, you can use this to reveal the parts within you that are real, that you are not owning. How do we know they're real? Because you wouldn't be envious if they weren't. You'd just be like, oh, that person has that thing. I don't care, right? Like, that's cool, right? There wouldn't be any jealousy. There wouldn't be any activation. You're only activated because it is a part that is in you that you're dimming, you're not owning. You're saying they have it and I can't. And that is the lie that feels terrible within you. So here's the truth. When you're envious of someone, you're actually inspired. But the only shift you need to make to move it to inspiration is they can have it and so can I. They can have it and so can I. That's it. And to start honoring those parts that maybe you've felt powerless around, but let it reveal, let it shine a light on the parts that you're not owning within yourself. Like I wasn't owning the part of me that could make money, the part of me where it was possible to create that abundance, where I too could create it. I was not owning my abundance. I was in such scarcity. So by learning this and understanding that jealousy is just activating a part of us that we actually have, right? It's hitting up against, it's triggering a part of us that we have that we're not owning. Then we can ask ourselves anytime we feel envious, we can say, wait a minute, what am I telling myself I can't have? Because that's what we want to challenge. That's the misbelief. And that's why it feels so terrible. So we can use it to grow, right? And that is why once I started learning this stuff, I started practicing it. So I started thinking, this was after a while of starting to learn the power of our mind. I started thinking, wait a minute, those people that live on the beach, like, I wonder what their thoughts are about money. I wonder why they allow themselves to experience abundance from a mindset level, not just from a circumstantial level, right? Because it really is a mindset that ends up creating our reality. So I would start getting curious, what is the mindset that they hold? Even if they came into the world with it, even if like money wasn't their curriculum, those are the best people to learn from because they have a super solid money mindset that we can learn from, right? So I think that's the opportunity, is to say, ooh, how can I get inspired by them? How can I allow this to activate the parts in me that I've been dimming, right? So that I can grow. So the only shift that you have to make to turn envy or jealousy into inspiration is to start saying this, start claiming this. They have it, and so can I. They have it, and so can I. It will change everything for you. And that's the work. And that is why I actually think jealousy and envy is one of the most amazing opportunities for growth and for revealing those limiting beliefs within ourselves, those parts that are totally limiting us and keeping us small and dim and, not really fully expressing ourselves. So that is what I've got for you around jealousy and envy and how you can turn it into inspiration. So again, the next time you feel jealous, ask yourself, what am I telling myself I can't have? Right? And I wonder what the mindset is of that person that allows them to do it. I wonder how they've created the safety within themselves to do that thing or create that thing. Can you use them to be inspired? Because if one can do it, anyone can do it, right? There's no reason you can't. We all have free will. We all didn't come in with the same circumstances. Of course, we didn't come in with the same curriculums. We didn't come in with the same traumas or things that we need to work through. Of course, we all came in with different circumstances, but as humans, the most beautiful thing about us is that we have agency, we have free will, we have the ability to change and evolve and heal. And we can use those people that we feel jealous of as opportunities for healing, right? And healing those parts that maybe we don't feel worthy of or are telling ourselves that we can't have. And really recognizing that's just a lie. If they can do it, I can do it. The path is going to be different. It may be a journey, but if they can do it, I can do it. And I started practicing that. And what do you know? Years later, I think it was probably 3 or 4 years into living in LA, I ended up moving to Venice Beach at the beach. And I was one of those 20 somethings living at the beach, right? So this tool works. It's really helpful. You can practice it. It didn't happen overnight, that's for sure, but it absolutely can work. So that is what I got for you this week. Hope it's helpful. And I hope this is just going to be really helpful to help you turn that envy into inspiration. Hey, thanks for listening. I hope this episode is something that you'll be able to add to your manifestation toolbox to come back to when you need a little extra motivation. If you like what you've heard today and want to take it deeper, you've got to come check out my signature coaching program, the Money Manifestation Movement. It's the place where you'll not only learn manifestation, but you'll begin to live it alongside me and an amazing community of like-minded entrepreneurs doing this work together. Head on over to jamieberman.com to learn more.